Spring is sprung, the grass is riz. I wonder where the birdies is. They say the birds are on the wing, but that's absurd. I thought the wing was on the bird. As it's such a beautiful spring day today, I thought I'd do this video in the Outside Technology Centre. Yeah, unfortunately, there's some guys working on a roof kind of down that way, and they're playing loud, funky music, which doesn't really help. So, tent pegs. Tent pegs. This isn't a tent peg. You can go online, you can buy metal ones. Yeah, I mean, maybe they had metal ones in the Anglo-Saxon period. Some of the get-held tents that you see, they look like they've maybe got metal pegs in there. But personally, I don't like them. If the weather is or the ground is a little bit damp, they slide out really easily. And yeah, I mean, they're just expensive. You can go online and you can buy yourself a wooden tent peg, but again, not particularly good quality and not particularly well made. They're kind of industrially made. So I thought today I'd show you how you make a tent peg. Now, you need some equipment for doing this. You need a saw and an axe as absolute minimum. It does help if you have a couple of other more specialist tools, let's say, but you don't really need them. So you would be absolutely fine with, you know, something like this. But the wider this piece of wood gets, the more tricky it gets to use an axe. And so the useful thing is to have one of these, which is a froe. This is the sharp edge here, and you place it onto the log. And oh yeah, you also need a mallet. So a saw, an axe, and a mallet. And this is my mallet here. Of course, you can drive this thing down here and split it. The other piece of sort of high-tech equipment you could have is something called a side axe. Now, I have a side axe, but it's not a genuine side axe. A friend of mine a number of years ago thought that the application of heat and violence to a normal axe could turn it into a side axe. So it's a bit of a sort of misbegotten thing. And so this is my little side axe. What makes a side axe and not an axe? With most axes, you have the part where you have the shaft, and then it goes down equally on both sides. A side axe, one side is straight and the other side curves in, and this allows you to work the edge of the wood, you know, more easily. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we need to take some wood, and I've got a little piece of wood here. Ideally, this should be a little bit green, because it's a lot easier to work. This is on camera, maybe this won't work because this is completely dry. I don't have any green wood at the moment, so I just have to work with what I've got, which is the hardwood. And so if you're a reenactor, normally when you turn up to a show, there's a wood pile. So if you need tent pegs, raid the wood pile. That's the easiest thing to do. Okay, so first thing we need to do is to take our piece of wood, and we need to go through the centre with the froe. And so we place the froe onto the piece of wood, and then we're going to strike it with the mallet. Hopefully this will work. Now, it's at this point where the axe runs into a bit of a problem, because obviously once you've got the axe too far down, it's not going to split properly. Whereas if you've got the froe, then you can hit the side. Yips, not playing. And there we go. So that's nicely split. I think I'm going to be okay if I just halve one of these things again. Yeah, we'll do it with a smaller one. And yeah, and then we'll end up with the with the the blank that we need. So again, put this on here, and then we drive that down, and then we're good. That gives us our blank, and we can shape the rest of this with an axe. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is to cut the notch in here so that the rope goes around the top of the peg. The other day, actually, the mozzarella in my fridge decided it was going to go on a I suppose what you call a sort of yeah, trying to get more healthy, basically. Took up running, and again, this is a lot easier if it's green. It took up running, and everybody said, that would be a good idea if they stayed in the house. They ran around the house. That would be actually quite a good thing to do. Or maybe use the running machines in the fridge. But didn't want to do that, decided it was going to run outside. So they've been running outside, quite a lot now actually. But still in the plastic bag, obviously, because the water, they didn't want to dry out. Okay, so we've got the notch in there. We now need to take out a piece of wood, sort of this triangular bit here, and yes, I managed to cut myself because I'm an idiot. We need to take this notch out. Now, again, it's a lot easier if it's a green wood to do that with. The side axe helps at this point, and we're going to chip bits. We're not going to just try and take the whole lot off in one go. We're not even going to saw it. We're just going to chip through. Take that off because that's going to fall off. Yeah, and we just work that. Probably helps to actually put my glasses on, which I don't have. Back in a second, need to find my glasses. Okay, so I've got my glasses on now, so I can see what I'm doing. Probably still cut myself because I'm an idiot. What we need to do now is gradually chip out this bit of wood here. And again, it's a lot easier if you do it when it's green. But I'm going to slowly do that, chip that out, and that will give me the notch. So yeah, so the mozzarella decides that it's going to run outside, which is not the safest things to do. And it's at this point that one of the mature Stiltons points out that there's a bit of a health and safety hazard. Trying to multitask, it just doesn't work, does it? The result of this is that the Landkaiser says that it can take one of its old trucks, convert it into an ambulance, and the Paneer volunteers to drive, which is rather nice. I want to be very careful here because I don't want to kind of chop off the top end of the notch. So it's probably a good idea if I stop talking because I will make a mistake. There we go. I have to make about 40 of these things for the tent and for the fire shelter, but luckily I have a hardwood tree in the garden, which is a fruit tree. It needs to come down, and so I will use that to produce the pegs. And I can work that green which will be good. Okay, so now we've got the notch there, so that will work out quite nicely. And as you can see, we're starting to kind of form the shape of the peg. Again, you know, another one of these things where dry wood as opposed to green wood, the bark would just kind of slide off and would be rid of that completely. That's going to be a little bit difficult to try and get off, but at least I can show you what it, you know, I'll get it off with a knife later, but I can show you, you know, what this thing should look like. Now the next thing to do now is to, obviously that isn't going to go into the ground, so we need to shape that down. And so again, this time we can be a little bit more rough because we're not caring if we chip out the top of this thing. We can turn that there. Yeah, so I mean, with the mozzarella, we thought everything was sorted. And the other day, though, they did run into a bit of a problem actually. The bag split, and you know, all they could have done, you know, all they needed to do was, you know, just shout out for the ambulance, and the pannier would have driven it out there, and everything would have been fine. But I think pride got in the way. You know what it's like. Yeah, so the pride got in the way. By the time the mozzarella had got back in, I mean, it'd been quite a sunny day, they'd dried out quite a bit, so they had to go down to the doctor. To have a bit grated off, you know. Luckily it wasn't too bad, it wasn't, you know, too severe. So, absolutely fine in the end. And it's at this point that we thought, you know, the mozzarella will be nice and sensible, and we'll agree to, you know, either run inside the house or use the running machine like all the other cheeses do in the fridge. But no, went back outside again, is running outside. You know, but even though it is the greater risk, still running outside. Okay, so we've essentially got, let's get that in there, a little bit more. Like I said, this is an absolute nightmare to work because it's dry wood, whereas with green stuff it's a whole lot easier. So at this point we've got a kind of sort of slightly misbegotten shape. I think we'll take a little bit off both sides of the top here just to straighten it up a little bit. Again, being a little bit more careful this time. And that side too. This is exciting, isn't it? You get to hear about all the problems with my cheese, and you have the possibility of me axing myself on camera. Isn't that wonderful? Couldn't ask for more. Okay, so from the front now we've got something that looks quite peg-like, but obviously from the side there we still don't have this kind of being able to drive it into the ground. So here we need to take this bit off, and so again we're going to do exactly the same thing. We're just going to shave it off gradually using the side axe. And I really can't emphasize how much easier this is when it's green. This is probably taking about 3 or 4 times the amount of time it would normally take because I'm working with dry wood. However, it does show you that it is actually possible. Okay, almost there. Fun, isn't it? there we go. One peg. As I said, you know, probably take no. I thought that was going to be easy, but it's not. I think trying to take the side axe to it, no, it's not going to work. Okay, so normally when this is green, you can just peel the bark off, and you should just peel the bark off. This is going to be a little bit tricky to come off. It might eventually, if I'm lucky. Yeah, I think if I take a knife to this, then it should be okay. But that is how you go about making a tent peg. And the beauty of this is that you've worked with the grain, so it's not going to split, it's not going to crack, it's not going to break, and you can make them any size you like. And you know, I mean, if you're at an event and you haven't got much to do and you're feeling a bit bored, just start banging out these things, and you'll end up with a much stronger and nicer and more authentic looking peg than these kind of mass-produced made with a saw things that you generally buy online. Okay. So, if you have enjoyed watching me trying to axe myself to death, then please don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, like, and do all the other things that you're supposed to do, and I'll see you next time on Uncle Frog's Endeavours. Arse.